All right, hello. My name is Sid Basu. I'm a first year computer science student at Penn State. And today I want to talk about one topic I've been particularly interested in, data privacy. And I'm joined here by Jacob, Taha, and Pratham. And we're going to talk about how data privacy has affected each of our lives. Now, what made me want to do this topic in particular was really the current controversy with TikTok and the Chinese government. And I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but essentially, from what I know about it, is that TikTok has mandatory laws with the Chinese government, and that makes American lawmakers very afraid of what the Chinese government can take from American TikTok accounts. And I don't currently use TikTok, not because of that problem, but really just because I don't like the app. But I've seen a lot of controversy. Some people stopped using the app, some people just don't care at all. And I think this divide inside the app also represents the divide within data privacy and what people care about. So if you guys do use the app, do you really care about this? Are you really worried, and like why?
So I also, similar to you, don't use the app because I don't like this app. It like destroyed my. I use it. I would like go on it in high school. Like I would go on it for 6 hours a day. I would come home from school and just go on TikTok, and then it would be 9 p.m. It was just awful. But I think in terms of like data privacy, TikTok, like if the Chinese government owns the app, they are entitled to take any sort of, like, nobody can stop them. So, like, the users should be in mind, like, keep that in mind, because there's nothing that, like, we can do to stop the Chinese government from taking any sort of data that they are entitled to have if they own the app, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I do have TikTok. I use it, every now and then. I think, like, in the long run, I don't really, like, do anything wrong on the app for, like, my data on TikTok to get leaked. But I do think, like, if time goes on, especially, like, if, like, God forbid, like, if countries, like, get into arguments with each other, like, I think that fact that you can, like, get other people's data can be really, like, detrimental, like, and it can cause a lot of problems. So, I'm not exactly sure how, like, private corporations work and stuff. But, like Jacob said, like, I guess if it's already in the law, then users should be aware of that. But, I don't know. I do think that data privacy is, like, extremely important. And, like, finding out about, like, the usage of the government in terms of, like, being able to get data, it did kind of, like...
Yeah, it's eye-opening. It's, like, kind of scary.
Yeah, it, like, did make me, like, be way more wary about, like, what I even like on TikTok and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, me as well, I didn't have the app. And I downloaded it this past year because me and my friends wanted to start, like, some kind of, like, soccer, like, channel thing where we just, like, post things, just for fun. But other than that, I would never get on because it just seemed so, like Jacob said, like, it seems like it just, like, captures you for long hours of time. And you don't even, because, they're, like, what, 60 seconds long?
Yeah.
But you don't really...
They're like 10 seconds long.
Dude, and you just keep going, and you're like, oh, it's just 10 seconds. You just keep scrolling, and, I'm on, like, I go on Instagram Reels, right? And it's the same thing, though. But, like, I'm like, oh, I'll be only here for, like, 5 minutes. And then it's, like, 30 minutes. I'm like, wow, I've wasted my time. And if you really think about it, like, do you remember the last, like, 5 or 6 TikToks you watched?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. No. But besides that, I've heard of weird things like when people look stuff up, right, and then somehow something pops up for, like, oh, this is, like, oh, if you were looking for shoes earlier, TikTok pulls up, like, oh, best shoes to get, like, like the government's, like, list that entire. So I've always been super, super weird of that. So I don't even open the app anymore.
That's a good point. That last part is, like, I think that's the scariest part of data privacy.
It's so scary.
It's it's crazy because there's another instance that I've also saw about I read this in an article about how a dad was wondering why his, like, daughter's sort of research habits, like, why I kept saying, like, things for, like, pregnant, like, why do you want pregnant things for kids?
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, I don't understand why my kid wants this. She's, like, a teenager, right?
Yeah.
And then
is she pregnant?
2 weeks later, he finds out that she's actually pregnant. That's like something that's, like, very odd, obviously. Like, how do you even figure that out?
Yeah.
And part of that is, like, a lot of people combating data privacy, if they say they don't care, like, I have nothing to hide. Like I'm not doing any
Yeah.
crimes or anything.
For sure.
But, like,
still, like,
It's like the point is that they can do a lot more with your data. Like they can figure out if you're like pregnant or like just by like what type of things you research. They can find like, ethnicity, religion, like some crazy stuff like that.
the weirdest thing, ninth grade, I was at some like school competition or whatever, and it was like guys and girls, right? And so the conversation came up of like, why do girls take such ridiculously hot showers? Because that was the conversation, right? And then on Snapchat, the very next day, on like one of those like little stories that you can like subscribe to or whatever, why girls take hot showers. That's like, I don't even care if that's coincidence. That's way too like, how does that happen, right?
Yeah. And I also feel like you know, when it goes to like things like just searching things up and like it goes to other apps, like, you know, who's to say that they're not like tracking your financial details?
Exactly.
Like who's to say that they don't have like a hold on like, you know, all your like your family background, your like job history.
They do. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys know about like after 9/11 happened, there was like a information breach where like the NSA, right?
Yeah.
They were like just collecting information on everybody.
Yeah.
And they could just like they could just
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The NSA, like they have everything. They have like pictures on you from your like your computer, your like your screen like camera. They can like look stuff up. Like they can straight like look up like what does this person like what like they have like this database. Every single person has a huge like profile in the NSA right now, and they just collect information. It's like ridiculous what they can do.
Well, just the other day, someone legit, I made a joke to someone, and they legit told me my address, and I've never told them my address. That's wild.
Okay,
like, that's
that-
not
that
okay.
is crazy, yeah.
No, like these,
That's
like
funny.
you could, like somewhere in the government, someone could just like put on a computer, like what, like give me Taha's computer, and like in like live recording, they could just watch everything you're like.
Yeah, let's say they can't
Like-
like take my social security then.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's nothing. But you guys know about like Edward Snowden and like the how that happened.
You see the movie?
I did watch the movie.
Snowden
No,
really-
what's
it's called Snowden. It's on Netflix, and it's all about this. It's all about the guy who like went public and said like the government's doing this really messed up thing, collecting everyone's information. It's a great.
It is like he actually had a quote about like the nothing to hide argument, and it was that like saying that arguing that you don't care about the right to privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say, and it's like just because like I'm not like doing a crime doesn't mean that I don't have the right to keep my own data. And he was the one who said that, and it reminded me of what the NSA was doing. And I like to think that like since then, obviously the country has like shifted more towards like data privacy, but that's still something that a lot of states are still like trying to figure out.
What's also I think is like really annoying, like just like button really here, is anytime I like go on a website like either on my computer, it's like I always have to either like manage cookies, accept cookies, or like reject all. And if you reject all, they just don't allow you. And I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, first of all, I don't want you in my information, and I just want this one little bit that you have on your article. Why do you want everything of mine? Why do you want my email? Why do you want everything?
They still eat stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
And it's like so scary because like, you know, going back to like Taha's story, like of the guy just finding his address, like technically that guy is like a common man, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have access to government
Yeah.
like new technologies. So imagine what like
The
these governments
government-
have on us. Like
Yeah.
they have
It's
they
everything.
everything,
It's
yeah.
Every
Yeah,
Google
everything.
search. It's every
Yeah.
like thing you've liked on social media. Every like honestly every text you ever sent.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
There was that. I mean, people still like put like a little like piece of tape or like something
Yeah.
to cover
Oh,
it
yeah,
because
they have every single like footage video from your cameras and like it's crazy.
Yeah.
oh, like the whole like Hey Siri thing.
Yeah.
Like
What the heck?
okay, sure if I say Hey Siri, but like why is it already like it has to be always
Yeah.
listening.
It's always a thing,
Yeah, true. I didn't
Right?
think of that. Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, Hey Siri, now it's going to start. No, it has to always be thinking. And I remember when they added this new FaceTime feature in, I muted myself and then I started talking and it gave me a suggestion, your mic is muted. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean it just
Yeah, the mic is like
Yeah.
still on. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I think that is scary. Like especially when you think about like when you start thinking about it like on an everyday basis. I'm not looking at my computer. I'm like, they have me on a computer screen.
Yeah.
But when you start to talk about it, it becomes really scary. And you don't think about it because you have like nothing to hide. Like I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything illegal or anything.
Yeah.
But a great point that I saw in like another like interview with someone who's like a great expert on this was that like especially with the overturn of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
They've been like starting to look at like search history of like abortion pills in specific countries, and they're like actively like it was actually scary because this is such a recent thing. They're like finding people like that have used like searched up like abortion pills, and like they obviously have something to hide. Like you don't want to like if you need to do that like dude. Like you can't just the government is like actually actively coming after you. That's like something that's very scary to me, especially when you actually do have something to hide. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
this is just great.
Yeah.
That's why. I think that's why I think the solution is like what California has done and like shaping what other states have done for this and shaping after what California has done.
What have they done?
They have the CPRA is like they've made one that's like it's active a few months ago in January.
You made what?
It's like the California Protection and Rights Act. So you can like when you delete your account from a company, they're supposed to delete all your information and delete all of that. Mm-hmm. And it tracks businesses on how like if they're selling data, it tracks that business and says like you have to delete their data. If they tell you to do something with their data, you have to do it. It's very strict, and it's a lot more strict than what anybody else has been doing.
Sign us up.
So that's why Pennsylvania actually doesn't have that, and only like 3 other states have that. So part of this is like trying to get Pennsylvania to enact that very quickly, especially with what's going on.
I guess VPNs are also like a good way of like managing like data privacy.
Yeah, definitely. So, you guys have any closing remarks or comments or thoughts?
I'm definitely way more scared to use social media now.
I need to order one of those camera
the
like
blockers
covers on my laptop. That's my final thought.
I would like to thank the